láyé olúgbọ́n mo ké borùn méje ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé àrẹ̀sà mo ké borùn mẹ́fà ẹ ò máa kọ yí lórin láyé ìsẹ̀yìn èmi ra kókò mo ra rán mo ra sányán bàbá sọ àfọ̀lẹ́ ló lè pélé.
Hello everyone, my name is Adeyemo Adegbemiga Ganiu and I welcome you all to my new Yoruba Abrahamic YouTube video. Today I want to touch on the satanic and undivine or pagan origin of religion centers of worshipping across all board, the inspiration behind it and why it was initially established and incorporated into the world foreign religion. This is not a shade on any religion, it's just an eye-opening thing that you guys need to do over something you continuously ignore, so you will be the judge at the end of it. But before we actually dive into it, I also want to use this medium to thank each one of you who have been there with me since the opening of this YouTube channel's journey until today. As of last night, I successfully uploaded my ebook and made it very much available to everyone who actually want to go into details. The link towards getting my book through purchase is beneath my YouTube page channel. You can go there and find out what I have in store for you guys, and let your comment know below or your messages. My details are there for more questions. So let's quickly jump into it. For those who haven't been watching my video or don't know what the word is, you need to understand that the world that we have today is being governed by law, being governed by laws or any constitution across the world, or even your wealth, but rather by some demonic signs and symbols which you unconsciously pay homage to, or consciously or unconsciously pay homage. As a matter of fact, belonging to any of these elite club naturally gives you as a member an endless privileges over anything at anywhere around the world, in something that which money can't do, or even political positions can't even earn you. But the question is, at what cost? Maybe it will be at the cost of you losing your soul for mere loss within the short time you will exist on earth, or of you becoming a condemned soul in this life before you die, or after death for eternity's sake. It is the ball is in your court to decide. Maybe it's worth it at the end of the day. In a nutshell, these horrible or demonic signs and symbols evolves around the world of different secret societies whose agenda do varies, and thus they are exhibiting or flexing on muscle political power within the shadow, because they love to heed their presences in ways that which we the masses will either continuously becoming their sheep, while they shall be the sheep herders, or cautiously. So for this reason, every single religious institution that you can find across the world today, directly or indirectly, have an occultic foundation as a background. They are designed by different secret alien elite or society to mirror their own agenda and absolutely have nothing to do with God Almighty or the Abrahamic text or anything of such, and has always been a tool either to sustain their authorities and control over gullible masses, especially with the African freaks who are dying to be their slaves at all costs in the name of paradise that does not exist. And this has always been the only reason why the state of the world are equally continuing to plunder in different chaotic ways, rather than being an appealing state under different religions, because religions was initially created never to make human a better version of themselves, but rather to make them an humble and happy slave that will succumb to every means of authority. Therefore, this brings us to the logic behind the creation of all religion institution or house of worship, as you may call it today. Like I said earlier, symbols are the primary tools which the world are being run on, because it is this key of identity that the people of the world are known by. This is why the Torah, even in his own context, reference that the kingdom of the world have been given to the Satan to hold. Who are the Satan? If you've been checking my videos, I made different videos regarding who Satan identity is. There is no invisible Satan in anywhere. Satans are real human beings like you and me. They are a group of people who are people of nation lineage, part of the humans who are naturally mischievous in nature, very tricky, very deceitful, as it has been their norms of way of life. When they tell you good morning, if you refuse to go out to check the sky, you will realize that you are still at night, as in they are naturally deceitful. This is who Satan is. So when the Torah is, this is why the idea of Satan, the origin or the true meaning of Satan, comes from adversary. It has nothing to do with spiritualism of invisibility. Adversary being, adversary human, treachery human being, people who are doomed to deceive. So when the Torah is saying that the kingdom of the world is given to the Satan to rule, it's basically saying there are some group of treachery or deceitful human beings who call themselves cabal or elite, who are running the world. They own the kingdom. They decide fate of so many political seats. They run government. They run the World Bank. This is what the Bible is basically saying. The kingdom of the heaven has been handed to them. They run the show, and they've almost run the show completely to the mud. Therefore, the greatest mistake we African does, or should I say, the reality of what we African fails to acknowledge, is that the Africans think that by them just meddling between two different world religions, or through convert, or it will actually make them a better person. Like some will say, some might even say, I'm a Christian. As I'm a Christian, Islam is a bad thing. Some people will say, Islam, I'm leaving Islam for Judaism, or Christian is a bad. All these people, all these religions are like different fingers from a single hand, and through a body that control them. You know, you have 5 fingers, and the owner of the body has the choice to either fold one or release the 5, or even fold the whole 5. So we need to understand that they are linked together directly or indirectly. For an instance, and the Africans in their ancient time basically had nothing like religion, and they know the Almighty long even before the Europeans or different invaders came into Africa to enslave them and force them to accept the Western misindoctrination. A reference to this cited can say in the letter or claims of the admittance of King Leopold II of the Belgian statement in 1883, when he authoritatively told the missionary colonials that came to Africa, who tasked them to brainwash the Africans with religion, and in his statement admitting that your principal objective as a mission in Congo is never to teach this Aniogo or Mologo, which are better known as Negro or Nigger, was never to teach them about God, because these people already know God. If you understand what this letter basically means, Africans already know the Almighty. They already have a pure way of life long before religion was introduced to them. The question is, what does this modern religion now entail if they can be admitting that we already know God? Definitely the religion that we hold to today means something else. It had an agenda on its own. It's never about knowing God, because we Africans already know who God is. We never needed religion to convey our message to the Almighty, to know the. So, in all senses, Africans never needed religion to know heaven, because our spirituality are embedded in our respective African traditional belief, custom, and norms. And as a matter of fact, religion serves as the interest of these aliens, of different occultic founders who founded them, and whose cult founders are the religion, which each of these religions are established in their own principle to numb the Africans, or to shape the Africans into what they want Africans to do. Let's start with what a church basically means, or a church institution, what it stands for. I bet many Africans don't really know about the origin of this church. Some call it a myth, but at least this is what the hidden truth they hide from you guys. The origin or the brain behind the existence of a church is found in an oral mythologic narrations of the Greek. Let me just brief you. It was all about a woman known as Circe, Circe, this woman who was said to be a witch and does dwell at a mini island at the middle of an ocean. And one day or the other, the ship of a Greek heroic warrior known as Odysseus alongside his crew were forced by a raging storm tide by this witch island. At first, Odysseus sent his crew member to go down from the wrecked ship of theirs to go throughout the island to go and partially see if they could get any help to scout the land. But unfortunately, after a while, Odysseus realized that his crew failed to return back to where the ship was at the bank of the river, and Circe, who is better known as the island witch, had transformed all Odysseus' crew member into pigs of swine, just as she has always done to so many different sailors who mistakenly cross our island by chance. In a nutshell, when Odysseus himself stepped out of the ship, trade the footpath of his crew member to the very island temple of this Circe, who is better known as the Witch Island, and knew that this Circe Island had turned his crew into pigs because he was initially informed by his own Amen oracle that informed him. Circe tried to also subdue Odysseus with the magic she had, but the magic failed her, and Odysseus threatened to kill her, that if she did not transform all his entrapped human pig into real human, he will take the witch life. But one way or another, Circe decided to agree and did transform all the crew member into a full human being. And later, Odysseus fell in love with the Circe genuinely, and they both had children, blah blah blah. So you can read all the whole thing about Circe. Her name is it's spelled as Circe, not Saku. Like you write normal circle and you remove the head, is Circe or Kak. I don't know how, English is very tricky. As years went by, the word Circe or Shak started to be mispronounced as Kiki or Kek. Let me like from Circe, it was transformed to Kirke. Kik or Kak, they sound the same thing. And furthermore, later it became Keker, Keer, and Kay or Sike, up till the name later evolved and later became church. And in generality, this concept was basically taken from word Circe, the legacy of that witch island, because the word church basically has the meaning of gathering. It basically means gathering, circumambulation, and that has always been a reference to the witch gathering, because anywhere you see the act of gathering is an occultic group. It's a sort of witch of gathering, a sort of circumambulation is a ritual. That is where the idea of church or cake basically came from. You won't see much of this thing from the mainstream media because it has so deeper meaning beyond what you can comprehend. So that is where the concept of circumambulation came from, which now resonated to the idea of why witches still gathered maybe around camping fire when they are doing their ritual, while religious spiritualism of circumambulation, like in the case of 7 times Muslim circumambulation over a black stone, which is not in the Quran, which has nothing to do with Constitution of Islam, which are on Constitution of the Quran. The whole thing of circling can also be referenced to the Hindu 7 times circling, also be referenced to even the Buddha 7 times circling. So it has always been a tradition long before religion was ever introduced to the African people. So it has an origin with a dark magic or dark way of life. And what was certain is that the ritual circumambulation tradition predates all AL establishments of religion with the African, which basically means it's indeed a root tradition of the Africans invaders. this led us to why, furthermore, each religion establishment in the world now carries their respective occultic or pagan symbols and un-Abrahamic identity as wherever they can be situated today or wherever they are built. For an instance, any house can be built at anywhere, and people who passes by will naturally look at the house like it's meant for living. But immediately you put the sign, or you put a sign, like in the case of an un-Quranic half moon and star symbol on top that house, instantly that same passer who passes by will instantly acknowledge that these signs indicate that the house belongs to so people. You can call it a Muslim house of worship, you can call it, but the question is, the sign is the logo. I hope you get it. The sign defines what the house stands for, not the house defining the sign. So the sign has always been the badge, the image of what is happening in every religious institution. Without the signs upon, if you build a house, you can change that house to different house of worshiping by just changing the signs. I can decide to build a house. Immediately I put any cross at the top of the house, people will know that it is a Christian or occultic worshiping center. That same house, if I remove the cross and replace it with a half moon symbol cross sign, half moon and star sign, people will see that same house as a Muslim house. If I remove that symbol again, put the acts of the Tao, the Kung Fu, people will know that it's a Buddhist temple. So the signs and symbol has always been what determine the foundation of every religion establishment that you see, not what you do. This is like a student who has a school uniform badge. From the badge at the chest or from the back, you will know the kind of school the child is coming from, irregardless of the color of the uniform. So the signs has always been everything. Like the case of the Yoruba Crescent of the. So when we are talking about signs, this is why I say the foundation behind it has no godly or divine affiliation. It has always been about symbol of the occultic demonic people, the Helite or so-called, which the Bible refers to as the kingdom of Satan, who control all religions across, like the cohest. Cohest is a combination of different religions that exist under one governing body, which are known. So the same people who controls the world economy, the world finance, the world politics, they are the one who control, which the Bible references as the kingdom of Satan. They own the whole kingdom establishment across the world, better known as elite of the world, who are striving for the one world government. So when we are talking about religion houses, we should always look, if you want to know, the whole answer lies with the sign behind this. So let's not take the case of Islam for an instance. The half moon and the star symbol, where does it come from? Because last time I checked, none of this sign can be found in the Quran. Likewise in the Bible too, there is no sign of cross, but this sign has always been the determinant of each houses where you pray to the Almighty within the religion spaces. But the Christian, like the Muslim, it's called an Yoruba Christian sign, a sign that can be dated or be traced back to the time of the ancient Babylonian, those which the Almighty called the demonic kind of people, which the Hindu also adopted when they are labeling it around their idol practice known as Shiva or Shiva Link, and generality either as a crucifixion, because the idea of crucifixion, for those who probably don't know, crucifixion is never a thing of the African, it's a Roman thing. And it is said, after checking the record of all the people Rome has long executed since the time of the time of the Christian era, not a single record have said a man named Jesus was crucified. They have the record till today. It's all about criminals, pirates. Those are the ones who are labeled. And for you to understand, it is never a thing of the Africans. It is also said in that same Torah that no one among you Africans, people of the book, she will enjoy in the Western way of crucifying someone on a stake, because it will desecrate your land. It will ruin your land. Curse will befall the land. So it's never an African thing to crucify someone. So why would they crucify the Messiah? As a matter of fact, the Messiah they are referring to Isese Abuja was part of them. So crucifixion has never been. The question is, where did this sign come from? The sign is a misrepresentation of the Egyptian cross known as Anekuaye, Anekusiliaye, a Yoruba word that basically means we shall not die, which the European now interpreted directly as a symbol of life. You shall live is a symbol of life, being alive, divinity, which is Nekusiliaye, which means you shall live forever, like an incarnation. Is a thing of an alive spirit, a symbol of peace or light, nur, that lies in you. So they basically, this is why I said, even though we can reference to some of these symbol and sign, they have a demonic thing, and you can see collectively either as a Christ Creole, as a half moon sign, or as a half moon sign, or the star sign. You can see it around popes, you can see it in churches, you can see it in mosques, and everything can as well be seen in the world worshiping the very demon Baphomet, which the world now worship collectively. Is all has a dark root. So each time you are seeing these signs on top each of the houses of worshiping in your area is a signification. Is signifying that house belongs to a demon. That house belongs to because the signs on it determine the signs on it is an indication of what the whole religion house stand for. So many will ask, is it now wrong for you to worship the Almighty? Like it is said, the Europeans said, you African know the Almighty before religion. And going by the Yoruba people traditional way of life and so many other African tribes, you also need to understand that to worship the Almighty, you need no middleman. You need no religion center. You need no one to be telling you about the Almighty. Whereas, in fact, the person you are looking up to be the middleman might even be the worst man in the sight of the Creator. Why not go to the Almighty directly? And to talk to the Almighty, it has nothing to do with you bowing down. It is said in your own Bible, like it said, do not associate anything with the Almighty, either in heaven, under the water, on earth. So you ask yourself, why will I now go and look to more? I'm saying I'm not a pagan worshiper. I believe in the Almighty, but yet I go out to the field, go and gather some clay mud, use it to build a brick block, use it to construct a worshiping center and name it after the Almighty. Even when the Almighty from the same Torah have said, don't associate anything to me, because the Almighty lies in your heart, it lies in your soul. You don't need anything, any object, any house, any motto, any slogan, any symbol, anything to worship the Almighty. Once you start associating the Almighty, like this is the house of the God, this is the Kaaba house of God, this is the Jerusalem wall of God, you don't associate anything. This is why I'm saying Africans need to understand that we were never pagan before these people came. They brought you real pagan practices and tried to twist what you initially had before they brought you the religion. Because Africans don't worship deity, they worship the Almighty in their hearts. They don't worship. So you can never see a Yoruba traditionally that will go and use his hand to build an house and call it the house of Eledumare, or call it the land of Eledumare, the tree of Eledumare. They don't think like that. They rather attribute their names or their callings to a deity, because they see the deity as a stepping stone to get closer to the Almighty. So this is why I said religion worshiping center is un-Abrahamic, is undivine, and it doesn't have a good stand in the sight of the Almighty, and that is actually act of pagan, if you must know. So this is we shall come to an end. Like I said, my books is now out. I know things are very hard generally across the world, but you have to consider my own stress, everything like that. You can support me by buying it and also help me to introduce it to many other people like you've always done with me, different subscribers. Thank you, each one of you. I will see you in my next video. Please press the likes button, turn up the notification bell should the case I upload, because I noticed that so many people are watching my videos but they don't actually press the like button, and some people don't even know. They always seems to not know that I've uploaded new videos. I will see you later on, my family. Thank you and bye for now.